Hello. In the previous guide, we created a simple Cairo contract in the easiest way possible, but this time we want to create something more useful, which is ERC20, just like in Solidity development on Ethereum layer 1, and also doing it using Nile environment. And if you are familiar with Solidity development, you probably know environments like Hardhat, Truffle, or Brownie. So Nile is an alternative that's provided by OpenZeppelin for Starknet developments using Cairo language. So that's what we will be using, but before going into this and setting up the project, let's check the ERC20 smart contract. So we are using the OpenZeppelin wizard, which will generate the smart contract for us. So name is whatever, symbol is whatever you like, decimals 18, and let's say you want to start with 10,000 tokens that we'll have on the initial owner balance. We want as many features as possible to be able to test them later on Blockchain Explorer. And we'll keep the ownable access control to make it a bit easier here. Of course, it's very similar to the all of those options are similar to those on normal Ethereum layer 1 Solidity development. And as you can see, even the smart contract looks similar. So we have all of the imports, we have the OpenZeppelin contracts here, because OpenZeppelin also provides us with contracts made for Cairo. And we have the constructor, which takes owner and recipient. So owner, the person who has all of the rights, admin rights in the smart contract. If we were using roles, it would be a bit different. So we would have separate roles for all of the features. And we have the recipient, which takes all of the pre-minted tokens, and those are minted and transferred to him here. Down below we have a lot of functions that are very similar to normal Ethereum Solidity, ERC20. So we can see getters like name, symbol, total supply, decimals, balance off, allowance post. And we also have some setters, or like transfers, transfer from, approving, and all of the options that we want to have in the smart contract, like pause and minting. We'll be able to test them later on to see how they work using the Blockchain Explorer. And so now, having this smart contract, we can create our Starknet environment, so we can go to Visual Studio Code that we'll be using today.
Okay, so let's begin with the environment. First of all, we want to create the env source for Python. So we'll set the name of our environment for the Starknet. Let's run the command. Now let's get to the extension. You will need the extension called Python Environment Manager. We have it already installed, so let's hop into it directly. And here in the sources, when you refresh, you should have the environment you already added like a few seconds ago. So if you go to there, you can open it in terminal and get to there directly. So next step is to install the PIP package Cairo Nile, because we'll be using Nile as an environment. Next, we'll need OpenZeppelin Cairo contracts. And then we'll init the Nile environment. So Nile init. And now we have to wait a little. So now we want to copy paste a contract from OpenZeppelin wizard, because we want to compile it next. So let's create first the folder contracts and create the file with our contract. All right, save it, of course, and now we can run Nile compile, very similar to Hardhat. Okay, fine. And now let's try to deploy. For the deployment, we'll need the command where we will Nile deploy with the name of the contract. Then we'll set the two arguments we need. So we have admin and recipient. We'll set the both for the same address because we want to send the minted NFTs for us. And then we want to become admin also for the contract. So let's copy that from the Argent X because we use that for the Starknet. If you want to know more about Argent X, you can see our previous video because we mentioned that. And also we need to set the network gallery. Okay, so for now you can see that it's the error because there is a Starknet wallet inside of it that we don't need currently because it's free for now to deploy. We don't need any account to deploy, but in the future it probably will change because the Starknet currently is in the alpha mode. So let's set it to nothing and let's try to deploy it again. Great, so here we are with our contract, so we can copy the contract and go straight to the Explorer.
After a minute, we can see that the contract is ready to be used here and is available on the Blockchain Explorer. Also, it's important to use the Gerli from the Starknet version, not the Ethereum version. So you need this address to be like this one. And next we can go and check all of the functions in the smart contract. So we can see that we have all of the getters and setters just like on the Etherscan Blockchain Explorer. The only difference here is that you can see that the source code is already here, so we can use all the functions without smart contract verification. But later on, if you want the users to be certain that that this exactly is like the smart contract, and to have the source code here, you would have to verify the smart contract anyways. But now what we can do is we can check how much tokens we have, and before we set it to 10,000, so you can see the total supply. So it's 10,000 tokens, and our balance is exactly this much. So now we can try to send the tokens to somebody else. So for example, I'll send the tokens to this address, and let's send this much. Just like in MetaMask, we have to approve the transaction. And if you have no funds, you can go to Starknet Faucet. And again, it's important to use the Starknet version, not the Ethereum version, because it won't work. By the way, all the links and the repository will be available in the description. So now we can see that we have the transaction hash. Let's see if the transaction went through, and check balance of the said address. So we don't have the funds here yet, but shortly they should appear here. Okay, so we have 10,000. We have 1,000 tokens here. It's not really 1,000 tokens because we have the decimals, and as you can see, this is not really 10,000, but it's 10,000 with all the decimals. But in fact, we sent some funds to a different address. So if you want, and it would be helpful to test of the functions in the smart contract to see how they work, for example, pausing, burning, and so on. But that's about it from our side. We created a ERC20 smart contract that can be used for your projects. So this is certainly something that can be used in real work solutions. So thanks you for watching, and see you next time.